Hey folks, this is Nate coming at you on Monday, what is it, June 8th. So today I'm going to do sort of like a part 3. This is a follow-up video. I've been meaning to do this for a very long time, but logistically I wasn't able to because it's only been up until recently where I was able to get an install done on one of my Sabers that had wiring that was optimized for the KR version 3.5 blade here, which is my Azy Celeres. So this Saber was made and installed for me by Azy himself. This was installed with 20 gauge PTFE wire, which is within the range of wire that's required to run the KR 3.5 blade optimally. If you have seen my, I think version 1 or 2 blade test where I compared the color differences between the Quantum V4 blade and the KR 3.5 blade, I did them both on sort of standard factory installed lightsabers. I believe the original compare I did was on Sabertrio sabers that use their standard factory installed power cores, which do not use 18 to 20 gauge wire. I believe they use 22 gauge wire. And as a result, the color saturation in certain channels ended up being a little off, right? So when Khal, the owner of KR Sabers, KR Saber Armory, when he saw that video, he responded to me and he said, well, the reason that I'm paraphrasing here, he said that the reason that the KR blade had that saturation issue wasn't the fault of the blade, it was the fault of the quality of wiring in the Saber. And so I said, okay, fair enough. So the last couple of Sabers that I have had out for a custom install, I had specifically requested to make sure that they got installed with 18 to 20 gauge PTFE wire to make sure that they would be sort of KR blade optimal. That's, so that's sort of the phrasing I'm going with here, where I don't want to say that the KR blade won't work on a differently wired Saber, because that's not true. It will work. It'll work just fine in most cases. It's just that with certain colors, the saturation level will be so apparent that it will actually flip to a very different color than the one that you were intended, right? But it'll still work for the most part. And it is still also very, very bright. So, sorry for the long preamble. Let's get to the test. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to run through seven of the basic colors. So this Saber is my Sabertrio, which is a standard and factory installed Sabertrio with their power core, Profi 3.9 board. And as you can see here, both of the power levels on the batteries are about the same. They're right around the high 90s. This is my Azy Celeres Saber. This is also a Profi 3.9 board. And this is running my, it's running 20 gauge PTFE wire. Okay. So, blue. And the first one is going to be blue. Blue. Okay. Now, blue is pretty much the same. It was, blue didn't have a saturation issue before.
Red. Red.
And red didn't either. There were definitely a brightness difference, and that's still apparent. The KR blade is still a little bit brighter on the red than the Quantum. And again, this is the Quantum blade. That's the KR blade.
Green. Green.
The green was normal before too. And it still looks pretty solid, the comparison. still where I would have expected.
Purple.
Now, purple is one of the ones that was different.
Purple.
So let's see how close they are now. Now, this is more of an indigo purple. This is or I should say a truer purple. It's running about 66% in the red channel and 100% in the blue channel. And this is much, much better. So this KR blade is representing a much better, much truer purple to the RGB value I'm using on this saber with the correct wiring. So very happy with that result.
White. White.
Okay. So the white is still tinting a little bit red. Not nearly as bad as it was before, but it's still tinting a little bit reddish orange. Now, by contrast, the quantum blade is tinting a tad bit blue, but not by much. It's actually pretty close to like a true white. So the white on the KR blade on this 20 gauge PTFE wire is still tinting a little bit red. Now, Khal also did mention that there was a specific issue with white, so I'm going to go back and read for myself later on what he wrote about that, because I think there was something specific about white that he had addressed.
Orange. Orange.
And that's actually my voice. Orange is still tinting a little bit red. So it's a little bit redder than what it should be. So this is the standard Profi orange, which is, I want to say, was it 255 in the red channel, 99 in the green channel, and 0 in the blue channel.
Yellow. Yellow.
And yellow is actually much closer, way better than it was before. So even though the KR blade is showing more of a gold or an amber than a yellow, it's a lot closer than what it was before. On the 22 gauge wire, this KR blade with yellow that was shown was almost orange. So this is way, way better. I think there's one more.
Battery power level.
No, that's it. Those are the colors.
Battery power level.
So all in all, I would say, yeah, that's a big improvement, running a KR blade on this 20 gauge wire versus 22 gauge wire. Khal also had mentioned that running your wiring for these hilts generally on 18 to 20 gauge PTFE wire is the standard. I don't know if that is the standard or if it should be the standard. I'm guessing maybe it should be the standard, but I don't know why many companies don't do that. I know, for example, with Sabertrio, I believe they default to 22 gauge wire. And I think for the LGT stuff and the TXQ stuff that you might get out there, like for the SVN4 and the Xeno cores, most of those I believe run on 22 gauge wire. So I'm not sure if it's a price thing, like if it's a materials cost thing, that maybe the 22 gauge wire is cheaper. I don't know. So I don't have an answer for why that is the case. So with that in mind, just understand that what this third blade test is showing you is that on 18 to 20 gauge PTFE wire, this KR blade is indeed optimized and it works the way that it was intended to work. On the 22 gauge wire, The V4 Quantum still works just fine, but if you use a KR3.5 blade with 22 gauge wiring in your Saber, it will have saturation problems, most notably for yellow, for white, and for orange and purple. Those four sort of secondary and tertiary colors. So just to know that. I still advocate for both blades. The Quantum blade is awesome. The KR blade is awesome. I use them both in my demos and for my casual Saber use. I love them both, and I recommend purchasing both. They both have their pros and their cons, but they basically have way more pros than cons on both sides. So I would advocate for them both equally. All right, y'all, thank you for watching. I hope this video was useful, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.